Hello, puppies and kittens. I'm talking with Damien Lee Thorr. He's the lead guitarist, primary songwriter, and founding member of the atheist metal band Predator. And you've heard his work before, although you may not realize it. At the beginning of all of my unapologetic science videos, that wicked guitar growl is his. So he's the person who produced that. Damien, I understand that you're in a bit of a plight, and I know I've heard your story, and I would like my audience to hear your story as well. Can you please or recount that for us?
Certainly, and thank you for having me. And heavy metal salute to all the Predator fans and friends out there. Well, when I'm not performing with Predator or recording with Predator, I normally work as an educator in the school system because I don't have the state certification that pretty much confines me to teaching in private schools, and many of those schools are religious. And I don't hide my atheism, I just so that there are no misunderstandings. I reveal it to everyone, especially during an interview. Sometimes they hire me, and sometimes they do. I mean, sometimes they hire me, sometimes they don't. So, in this case, I had a job teaching music and art at a Christian school in Miami, which is an hour and a half south of where I live. And basically, I would make the commute because it's very difficult to find work these days. And so I took the job hoping I could find something better, but for 2 years nothing else turned up, so I held on to that job, and it was good income for me. And basically, during the initial interview, the pastor of the school saw on my resume that I had previously worked at a Lutheran school, and he asked me if I was Lutheran. And I said, look, I'm not Lutheran. I live a secular lifestyle. I don't adhere to any religious beliefs. And he basically accepted it and basically said that I'll be teaching music and art and that it's no big deal. And then 2 years into my tenure, I was successfully teaching kids, including kids with special needs, with autism and other behavior problems. I was teaching successfully how to draw, how to paint, how to do projects, and teaching them various musical instruments and various art techniques as well. And 2 years into my tenure, I get a voicemail from my boss, who was the pastor and principal of the school, that I was terminated, citing specifically my atheism after 2 years. And it had never been a problem, it had never been brought up. During work, I kept to myself. I did not socialize. I did not reveal to anyone, especially the students, that I am, in fact, an atheist. And so it completely devastated me because I could not find work after I got terminated, which resulted in catastrophic financial loss because I was forced to sell a bunch of stuff way below their estimated value, just to survive. And it was very emotionally distressing, very demoralizing. And a few days after I got terminated, I filed a complaint with the state for discrimination because it was clearly a matter of discrimination. And it dragged out for about a year in court, 11 months basically. It dragged out. And what gets me is that after I filed my complaint of discrimination, the school retorted with spurious falsehoods about me, that I was incompetent as a teacher, that I was harassing one of the teachers, that I was a horrible person, unclean and unkept appearance, that I smelled, that I was abusive to the kids, that I deliberately gave kids an F there, which is not true. And so I dug up all the evidence. I basically debunked all their false claims, all their spurious claims. I debunked it with evidence. But none of my virtues mattered because in the end, I lost the case because of the ecclesiastical exemption. Basically, what it, and I didn't know about this, but it turns out that by law, religious institutions do not have to abide by any of the anti-discrimination laws, which is, in my opinion, it's absolute. I don't know if I can say this here or not. I think it's bullshit because the thing is that that's a prejudice and violation of the Civil Rights Act of Chapter 7 of the Civil Rights Act, where no employer should or can discriminate based on religion, sex, race, nationality, pregnancy, illness, disability.
Yeah.
And so basically they nailed me with that one. I didn't know that religious institutions are above the law, basically.
Well, yeah. If I can go over some of these details, I mean, I remember you approached me looking for help in this case, and I, of course, notified American Atheists about it, and we contacted a couple of other lawyers about it as well that I knew that was helping out secular people with their with you know conflicts with religion specifically. But I I I feared that this was going to happen because I knew that religious schools do operate by a separate set of rules, that they don't have to adhere to the same rules of discrimination as everybody else does. Christianity is all about special privilege, and religion just generally tends to be. That's why the reason that they're not supposed to be able to tax religion is because they're not political institutions, but we know that they violate that anyway, causing their entire congregations to vote as a block and so forth. So I knew it was going to be a tough battle. But I'd also remember reading about your case notes and the evidence that you had, and I was frankly impressed by it. I mean, you had claims in writing from the school alleging one thing, but then you have a recorded voice message that confirms something else entirely.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hey, Damien, good morning. This is Edwin over at the school and the church. I hope that you're feeling better, my friend. I hope that you're about to head home. Hey, listen, man, I got some bad news for you, my friend. I'm going to have to let you go. It breaks my heart to tell you that. But it was brought to my attention by several individuals this past Wednesday and early yesterday about your website, the whole predator thing, man, which is something that you never told me about. I spent some time on the website. I read a lot of the stuff that you've written. And my friend, like I said, I love you with all my heart. But those beliefs that you're stating, the research is off. Anyway, just so you know, the sources are pretty weak. Just so you know that. I just want to let you know. But my friend, those are incompatible with what we're doing here. Anti-church, Jesus doesn't exist. God is Santa Claus. I'm sorry, my friend. Those kind of things, they just don't line up. They just don't line up with our belief system here. So I love you again with all my heart, man, but I'm going to have to let you go, my friend. I'm going to put your check in the mail today. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the hard work that you did. But once again, after taking a long look at the website, we just can't make it fit, man. And I'm very sorry about that. If you ever have a change of heart along the way, you know that I'm here. Call me, and we can talk Jesus whenever you want. If your family's ever in need, please give me a ring. We're here to help you. But once again, it's just the belief system is incompatible, and a little bit of what was written on the website is a little bit edgy, a little bit strong, a little radical, to be a part of what we're doing here. So again, my brother, I love you with all my heart, but I gotta let you go. Again, I'll put your check in the mail today. Your full 2 weeks, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your very, very hard work on our behalf. I appreciate it tremendously. If you're ever stuck or in need, you know that I'm here for you. You know that our church is here for you, okay? I wish you and your wife and your girls the best, beautiful family, okay, moving forward. So the Lord bless you, my friend. The Lord take care of you. And again, if you ever need me, don't hesitate to shoot me a text or give me a call. We're here for you, okay? God bless, man. We'll talk soon or whenever our paths cross again. Take care. and I definitely praying hard for you, okay, to recover from this hospital stay and this whole COVID reaction thing you've had. God bless you, my friend. Bye.
Basically, they're not above morals. I mean, they are a bunch of liars and thieves. And, what really gets me is that, there are currently 8 states where atheists are prohibited from public office. And they cite that, according to them, they cite that an atheist would not be good to lead people because they don't adhere to any morals, and therefore they could ruin society. But then again, since when did faith ever stop a politician from deception? Since when did faith or belief stop clergy from molesting a child? It's all spurious. It's all bullshit. And the best people I know are atheists. Because they're honest. They're not deceitful. They're not thieves. And this is what I constantly see 100% of religion. They're all a bunch of liars, and they care more about money than helping. They claim that they are charitable, but they're not, they're always asking the congregation for money to solve church problems. But when somebody has a problem or needs surgery or something, they ask to pray and they don't give money. They're really, the double standards are astounding.
Double standards do definitely apply. And well, we all celebrate, even atheists celebrate, the freedom of religion, which of course we understand that you're not going to have anybody else's religion imposed upon us. I mean, there's people like Mike Pence and Ted Cruz and a number of other politicians who would say that we don't have that freedom, that we should have their religion specifically imposed upon us, because they're very short-sighted, myopic people. But we understand that you can't have freedom of religion if you're made to be a second-class citizen, wherein the state has adopted a religion and we have to show deference to it. In your situation, and it should be this way, that everybody has the right to believe or not whatever they do for whatever reason makes sense to them. And it's freedom of thought, essentially. It's not just freedom of religion, it's literally freedom of thought.
Well, the thing is,
the problem is where they take it too far is that they're not just looking for freedom of religious belief. They want freedom of religious imposition, and they want special privilege. So you declare that you have a religious belief, and that allows you to evade laws that apply to everybody else, but suddenly don't apply to you.
Exactly. And there's something wrong with that. I mean, absolutely. It's a horror because, they overturned Roe versus Wade, basically, in this ecclesiastical exemption. And there's others, not just the 8 states where they prohibit atheists from public office. But the thing is, this is very clearly a fascist theocracy. And, it's just very alarming. It's very, very alarming. Look, it's just really alarming. These institutions now have a green light to discriminate without any consequence. So if you're gay, black, Hispanic, atheist, pregnant, out of wedlock, they can fire you for and get away with it, because they have that ecclesiastical exemption.
And they've actually advocated, I mean, the Republican Party platform. I made a video where I just read the Republican Party platform, and that's what I did last month. They expressly say that they want to be able to expand that beyond the religious schools to just general practice of business. They want to be able to discriminate based on sexual orientation or based on religious belief, and they want to decriminalize hate crime. So if you hate people because they're, say, Jewish or black, then you should be able to, or gay, then you should be able to fire them or deny them housing, not just employment, but housing. As a matter of fact, what was it? Ted Haggerty, the famous
Oh, I
family
remember
values
him. I
preacher.
remember him. Yes.
Yeah, the famous family values preacher who was advocating what a great sex life the people in his congregation have, and how they were all about, you know, the sanctity of the family and everything, and how anti-drug he is. And then he's found out to be doing, you know, snorting cocaine off a male hooker's ass. And that this is the pinnacle of hypocrisy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he said in an interview that as Christians, they believe that they have these special privilege. He called it a right, but special privilege is what it is. He said believe we have the right to treat certain people differently. So he's advocating for discrimination, and he specified that he wanted realtors to be able to deny housing based on sexual orientation. I realize, you know, we're not talking about, you know, your case being gay or whatever, but you are atheist, and so you're in one of those forbidden categories according to these Christian schools. And Christianity is all about special privilege.
Yeah, might as well be a murderer.
Yeah. So
in their eyes, you know.
yeah. So give me a bit of how you pleaded your case and how that worked out.
Well, basically, initially, I read their retorts against me. Basically, I filed a complaint against them for discrimination, and they responded with false claims of, well, many false claims that I was abusive to the kids, that I was sexually harassing a teacher, that I was maliciously issuing bad grades to kids.
And we have to express, I've heard the video recording of when they fired you over a voicemail.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very specific. He fired you specifically because he found out that you were involved with the band Predator, and that they were specifically atheist, and that you're sending an atheist message. Somehow he was seemingly unaware of that. Whoever hired you didn't tell him, whatever. But he's now firing you.
He's the one that hired me, and he knew I was an atheist upon hiring me.
And if I remember correctly, he said in that recording that you were a good guy and all like that. That was the only problem in the world that he had, was that you were sending this atheist message. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess he didn't know that you had that recording, because then they suddenly come up with all of these other complaints, which he didn't allude to in his message when he fired you. He actually said the opposite, that you were a great guy. He liked working with you, all of that, but he can't have somebody that sends that atheist message.
Right. In the recording, he even thanks me for my hard work. You know, here's the thing. I filed the complaint of discrimination, and they responded with all those false claims that I was a horrible teacher, that I was incompetent, that I was sexually harassing another teacher, that I was abusive to the kids, that I was refusing to teach the special needs kids, you know, the autistic ones, which is not true. You know, all sorts of lies. And initially it hurt my feelings, because these were my colleagues, you know. I was actually very injured by this. And so one at a time, and I read all the affidavits. I mean, all of them signed affidavits, you know, making up stuff about me, but maliciously making up stuff about me. And I was able to debunk each and every one of them. The one that said that I gave her son an F. Well, I provided the report card templates that we used, and the instructions at the very bottom were that I was not allowed to issue anything below a C. So I debunked her right away, and I even suggested to the judge that they bring her up on perjury charges, because she did sign an affidavit which was notarized, you know.
Yeah,
you can't backpedal out of that one.
Yeah, I read quite a lot of your case notes.
Yeah,
Because I was trying to get you in touch with lawyers that help in secular freedom of religion issues. And so, I mean, I read through a lot of it, and I thought you gathered evidence very well. I thought you presented your case very well. I'm actually honestly surprised that the judge ruled against you, except that it's fucking Florida. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised at all.
Well, dude, I had a feeling during the hearing that I was going to lose, because during the hearing, the respondent was captious, abusive, condescending, and the judge did nothing about it.
Yeah,
But
implying that the judge is already religious and biased and
right, but yet when I got into a shouting match with him, it got a little heated during the hearing. I got reprimanded. You know, it was just ridiculous. And so, but he's being condescending, captious, sarcastic, abusive, but it was accepted. I mean, it was really unfair. Not to mention, prior to the hearing, the opposing counsel was attempting to hijack the hearing and say, we have enough that we can proceed with your decision, Your Honor, without Mr. Thor's testimony. In other words, they just wanted to kick me out and not have me present my case or my witnesses or my evidence, because in their spurious comments responding to my claims of discrimination, they also said that I was anti-LGBTQ, which is not true. And they said this basically, it was based upon an old interview that they found online where someone had asked me why I thought the popularity of heavy metal died down in the 80s. And my response was that, and this is exactly what I said, my response was that I felt it died in popularity because many artists, many bands were not taking the music seriously. It was more about imagery. People were dressing up like monsters or dressing up in drag, you know, wearing makeup and eyeliner and painting their fingernails. And they took that out of context and said, "Oh, you see, he's anti-LGBTQ." So
wow.
I had to produce two of my friends who were very happy to back me up, who not only were LGBTQ, but were also both Jewish, because the school also said that I was anti-Semitic because at one time in our website, I protested the Israeli treatment of the Palestinians. And there was even an incident where they shot and killed several children, and there were pictures of them posted. And
I saw some of that.
I had a serious problem with Israeli soldiers killing children. And it has nothing to do with anti-Semitism. It's nothing to do with religion. It's all
Yeah.
political. And so they started saying that I was anti-Semitic as well. But I presented my witnesses who are both members of the LGBTQ community. One of them is a good lesbian friend of mine who's married to a woman. And we've been talking for quite a while. And they picked me as a sperm donor when they are ready to start a family. So if I'm anti-LGBTQ, why are they, why would I want to help them? It's just bullshit.
Yeah.
And so not only that, they're both members of the LGBTQ community, but they're also both Jewish. I'm not that kind of person, where I don't blow off people based on who they are. I blow off people if they treat me bad.
Yeah, I've yet to meet an atheist that had an issue with Jewish people. I don't understand why there are so many people that hate Jewish people or why they do. I mean, I can understand. I've seen the footage about, like a 14-year-old being assassinated in the street in Palestine. I remember seeing that kind of thing. I have friends who live in Israel. I have Israeli friends, and we've discussed this sort of thing. I mean, these people are still my friends. I don't understand why everybody else seems to, like there's so many other people seem to have issues with Jewish people, and I just don't.
The
And I don't get why
anti-Semitic
others
people
do.
I know are Christian.
I'm sorry, what?
The anti-Semitic people that I know are Christian.
Yes. Overwhelmingly.
Right.
Overwhelmingly.
And funny thing too, they also believe in witches.
Yeah. I ran into a bunch of that yesterday. There was a bunch of Christian protesters that were saying, okay, well, there's people here who are admitted Satanists, so they're sorcerers and devil worshippers. And I'm like, well, the Satanists don't even believe in any of that. But when does it matter that the Christians are wrong about something? And when do they ever admit that, oh, okay, well, Satanists don't believe in sorcery? Okay, well, then never mind. I shouldn't have said that. That didn't happen ever. But I don't want to go on about that. I've seen a lot of your case notes. I thought you compiled the case very, very well. I thought you presented your evidence very well. I heard the evidence that you had, the recordings that you had. I've seen the written things. I was a little surprised to see these subsequent attacks after praising what a good job you had done.
Right.
To then hear the subsequent to say that he's smelly and he's lazy or whatever it is that there was after. When they worked with you for years, they said, this is the reason why, this is the only reason they're why. It's unfortunate because we really like working with you. Otherwise, if you say that and it's on a recording, this is the only reason why, then why doesn't the judge hold them on perjury? Well, because they didn't say it under oath, did they? I guess that's the only reason. But they're presenting false evidence then.
Right.
So at some point they lied.
Oh yeah, they totally lie. And the thing is, it just got to me how captious they were being. They were picking at every little thing, just hoping something would stick. For example, at one point during the deposition, the opposing counsel brought up a post from my Facebook page where I posted a painting of mine that depicts a dragon, which is what we used on the album cover for the Predator album, Nightmare. And, I paint a lot, as you know. I'm an artist as well.
You are teaching art, yeah.
Yeah, I paint a lot, and I like to express myself that way. I paint a lot of sea life, spacescapes, and I do Predator album covers because it's a lot cheaper to do it yourself than to commission an artist to do it. So the thing is, they saw the posting of the album cover, and they thought it was the devil. Come on, it's clearly a dragon, And
what would it matter if it was the devil? What the hell?
Well, the thing is, it's I don't believe in the devil, but the thing is, it just got to me that they were being so captious. I mean, I had to make sure I pointed out to the judge that I was the victim here. I was wronged. My civil rights were violated. They robbed my ability to provide.
Yeah. And they did so over a religious disagreement. And the sad fact of it is that religious schools have that special privilege, and they had it written into the whole organization of the thing from the onset.
Right. And the thing is that they're the ones that are whining constantly about being attacked.
They think they're the ones being persecuted.
Yeah.
That was yesterday when I found myself surrounded by hundreds of Christian protesters being oppressed all over me. All right, well, Damien, I don't know much. I don't know where to go from here, and I know you have a similar quandary that you're in a situation trying to decide where to go from here. But I wanted to get somebody to hear your story because it was very frustrating to me personally.
Well, here's what I want to say. This judge's decision to rule against me, I'm taking it very personally. I feel like I don't have any rights here.
In the United States, you mean?
In the United States. So I am leaving the country. I've already decided I'm going to have a fresh start overseas somewhere. I'm leaving this coming weekend for surgery. I don't know if you've noticed, my face is still half paralyzed. I have this disease, so I'm getting surgery to correct that. This is the last you're going to see with my hair. It's all going to get shaven off. So I'm going to have short hair henceforth, and I'm going to open up a restaurant, and I'll just work as a chef and live the rest of my days in tranquility, where I don't have to deal with Bible thumpers. I'm going to live in a country in South America where they are already fighting a law that's going to pass where they are going to remove the church's tax exemptions. So this is a good secular country, and I'm really happy to be going there.
Well, best of luck to you, sir. And I guess we'll close it up with that.
Yeah, I just don't have any rights here, and I wouldn't want to live where I don't have any rights. And the constant bigotry, I just cannot deal with it anymore. I was born in the States, but I've never felt welcome here.
And it does seem to be getting worse.
It's becoming a fascist theocracy. It's really not worth fighting for anymore. It really isn't. I'm going to watch the States burn from far away, unfortunately.
All right. Well, I wish we could end on a nicer note than that, but best of luck to you, sir. And thank you for your
everything,
contributions.
and a shout out to all my fans and friends out there. Love you all. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for your support. It's been a good run, and thank you again for everything.
Good night.
Good night.